From the 1011 Now Alert Center, this is Morning Pulse.
Good morning. This is Craig Allison with your Morning Pulse for Tuesday, April 7th. Right now, this morning, we're following some breaking news that is developing as we're speaking right now. Going on. Explosions have been reported on Iran's Karg Island, which is almost all of the country's oil is exported through. Again, this is just coming into the newsroom this morning. And for some of those latest updates, we'll just give you a live look at where we're getting some of these reports from. This is at least the thread from the AP that we are currently following in this morning's coverage. So again, this is a developing story, but President Donald Trump has warned that a whole civilization will die tonight as part of his quote, but said Iran still has time to capitulate ahead of a deadline set for 8 p.m. in Washington. And again, this is Trump issued this stark threat today about 12 hours ahead of his deadline for Iran to agree to a deal that includes reopening the Strait of Hormuz or face punishing strikes. Trump wrote on his social media site, quote, "A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again," and added, quote, "I don't want that to happen, but it probably will." So again, this is happening just this morning, and this is breaking news that we're going to continue to keep following and keep you updated on with the latest. So be sure to stick with us at 10:11 now. This is what the AP and CNN are reporting right now. So we're just kind of working to follow some of this developing news that's going on this morning, and we'll continue to keep you updated with the latest as those updates come in ahead of tonight's deadline that Trump has issued for Iran. But now we're going to switch things back over to some local headlines for you here in Lincoln. Starting things off with your first a big story from this morning happening today. City officials are gathering to answer questions as work begins on one of the busiest spots for the capital city. Phase 1 of Project O Street started just yesterday, but street closures with some added traffic in turn are already underway from 13th to 16th Street. Pre-construction, which includes tree removal, has already closed a westbound lane of traffic. Now, according to LTU, the entire phase of construction on the 3-block span will likely last through this fall. The owner of Pita and Nan says it's disheartening to see 3 parking spots in front of his restaurant now blocked off, but he has hopes that support from his regulars and even the city will hold him and others over.
Once you start seeing orange cones, on the streets, you see construction. We've seen what's happened before with like 48th Street. We see what's happening right now in Omaha with the rail car being installed. Things like that are what makes us nervous, but we're impressed with what the city's been doing so far. They have a really good plan in place.
We also talked to another business in the area that has a backup plan for this construction, which you can listen to and check out on our website, 1011now.com, for the full story. But that being said, if you want to learn more, LTU will be holding an open house at the Union Bank Place lobby from 4 to 6 p.m. today, where staff will be answering any questions the community still has on this. Your second story in your top trending stories from this morning in our crime tracker, 19-year-old Zachary Hertzler has taken a plea deal in the case involving this train derailment, which we have up on the screen going on for you this morning. That happened in Bennett nearly 2 years ago. Now, you might remember that he actually sent us here at 1011 the video of that derailment, but he pled no contest to one charge of criminal mischief and now faces up to 2 years in prison or fines. Now, according to court records, a switch had been misaligned, causing the train to come off the tracks. Security camera footage shows someone along the tracks at the time of the accident and setting up a camera before. In total, it caused over $350,000 in damage. Hertzler's trial was scheduled for yesterday. Your third story for you this morning, and heading towards the metro, a former Bellevue police officer accused of crimes involving children changed his plea in 2 cases. In the first case, Ryan Augustin is accused of soliciting sexual photos of a 17-year-old. He pled no contest, and in the second case, a woman claimed he held a gun to her head and held her against her will. He also pled no contest in this case. Sentencing in both cases, though, is set for June. Bellevue police fired Augustin days before his arrest in November. He spent 5 years with the department. A little farther north for your fourth story, an investigation is underway after a man in custody in Norfolk City Jail appears to have killed himself on Sunday. This just hours after being arrested, accused of first-degree sexual assault charge. According to Norfolk Police Division, the 33-year-old had been booked on Sunday around 11:30 in the morning. Police say routine checks were done throughout the day. Then at 10:30 that evening, police say he was found unresponsive in his cell with a makeshift noose around his neck. He was taken to a local hospital where he died. The Madison County Sheriff's Office is now doing an independent investigation into this. So we'll be sure to keep following this as more developments come. Your fifth story, and over in our capital coverage, a bill in the unicameral could change how parents save for their children's future. So parents, listen up. According to Education Data Initiative, the average cost of college has more than doubled in the 21st century, and Nebraska has a savings plan for parents called the Nest 529. The trust was launched in 2001 for parents to plan for their kids' future, and currently the money set aside in these accounts can only be used for universities or vocational schools. But a new bill on final reading at the unicameral would expand it for trade schools and apprenticeship programs.
It's not just a four-year university, it's not just a community college now. It's looking at what the future workforce looks like in Nebraska and making sure that, those dollars that you save can be used to fill the jobs that we have and need.
Now, workforce data released in March shows the greatest demand for labor comes in healthcare, transportation, construction, and skilled trades. Those are areas the state hopes most to utilize apprenticeships and higher ed pathways to fill, including with the passage of LB 748. That's the bill that they're currently discussing with this expansion. Now, wrapping things up with your final story for you this morning in local headlines. Here in Lincoln, days after winning the AP National Coach of the Year, Fred Hoiberg is back in the capital city and looking to the future. This also comes after last night's end to the official college basketball season, with Michigan beating out UConn 69-63 in that national title. It's actually Michigan's first title since 1989, but bringing things back over to the Huskers. Conversations are underway with players about returning next season in hopes of replicating the success the Huskers saw this year. Hoiberg says Price Sanford, a first-team All-Big Ten selection, should be back for summer workouts after undergoing surgery for a sports hernia. Hoiberg noted that he feels good about the, quote, core group of players returning for next season. Although, when asked about the transfer portal, which opens up today, Hoiberg joked that it's, quote, his favorite time of year.
We've already seen a lot of players that are planning on going into the portal. So you just do as much behind the scenes work within the rules that you can, and then you're ready when these names pop. And, try to be one of the first to get involved if you feel that they fit what you're trying to do. And, we feel good about, some of the names that we're after. And, those Zoom calls will start pretty much right away.
Now, despite the portal opening up today, visits either on the road or on campus aren't allowed until this Friday, April 10th. So we'll be sure to keep you updated on the latest when it comes to Husker basketball. Hopefully we can replicate some magic from this amazing season that we just had, but we'll just have to wait and see how this turns out. That's going to do it, though, for your morning pulse for this Tuesday morning. Before we wrap things up, I know we're on basketball video, but we'll continue to keep you updated on the latest with the U.S. and Iran as more developments continue to pour in, again, with the breaking news on the firing of the Karg Island from the U.S. military, as early reports from the Associated Press and CNN are now reporting. But anyways, here's a look at your 7-day forecast before we toss things over to Brandon Rector with your wet forecast for ahead.
Good Tuesday morning. Meteorologist Brandon Rector with you in the 1011 Severe Weather Center. Winter weather advisory in place for part of eastern Nebraska as well as Iowa until 1 p.m. today. Our chance of rain and snow showers this morning will be decreasing, so it's just a 20% chance of isolated rain showers for this afternoon. Mainly cloudy for many of us for much of the day and becoming breezy. Winds out of the southeast 10 to 25 with gusts up to 35 miles per hour. Clouds will decrease from the west to the east late this afternoon and into the evening, so it becomes mostly clear to partly cloudy. Remaining breezy though. Temperatures at noon look to be in the upper 30s to upper 40s. At 4, it's mid 40s to mid 60s, and at 8 this evening, we're still in the mid 40s to mid 60s. In Lincoln for today, we'll warm up into the mid 50s this afternoon. That is below average for this time of the year.
From the 1011 Now Alert Center, this is Morning Pulse.